Do you have a dark corner in your garage or in your shop? Do you think this might help? I'm going to show you how to build an LED light pole that will give you extra light in your dark corners of your shop or your garage. I needed to have some extra light in my garage. I needed to have light for video, and I needed to have light for when I was doing work and assembly work. And I put together this light pole with LED lights. It's so bright I almost can't show it to you face on because it's too bright. But let's build one. Okay, the first part of our light pole is to make the pole part, which is made out of white melamine because it gives you a little extra reflection from your LED lights. I cut 2 3-inch wide strips and 1 5-inch wide strip. I put a 22.5-degree angle on both sides of my 5 and on one side of my 3 so that I can fold it together like this. To glue that and hold it, we're going to do that with blue tape clamp. We'll turn it over and put it face down. This is a similar process we use to glue corners together in boxes or anything like that where we have a 45-degree corner. This is a little different because we're going to have it open, but we just start off with our blue tape and we're going to tape our seams together on the sharp points. I always put a little piece every few inches like this, pull that seam together. And then I run 1 bead of tape all the way down my seam. All right. And I'll do that to the other seam, same way. We'll run a bead of glue down both of our trenches that have been created by our 22.5-degree angle cuts, just like this. And we don't worry too much about how much glue we want in there or are putting in there. We don't want a lot of squeeze out, so we don't want a gob of glue in there, but we do want it to glue good. So get plenty of glue, and if there's a little squeeze out, it's not going to make a bit of difference. And we're not even going to clean it up because it won't even show. All right, there's our glue up on both of our trenches. And then we take a piece of blue tape like this, fold this up, tape it good there, fold this up, and pull tight. All right, and we'll do that in several locations, all the way up and down our column. What this does is it pulls our seams together, our angled seams together, and holds them tight. And it's just as strong as a clamp would be as far as our gluing necessities. And I'm kind of pulling it toward me a little bit so I can apply a little pressure with my hand and my leg. Okay, just like that. And now it's glued together in a little trough like this. And when this dries, I'll show you how to put the little stand on the bottom, and then we'll install some lights. Let's come back when it dries. Our glue is dry on our tower section of our light, so let's go ahead and remove the glue tape clamps that we've put on here. And this is nice and clean. That's the nice part about this light tower made of melamine, is the fact that now it's nice and white and will reflect the light from our LED strips that we're going to be putting on. This will be the base to our column, our tower. I have some layout lines here. Our piece right here is going to go right in here. This is a support piece. I cut myself some little 4x4 blocks. This little 4x4 block is going to be here, and that will be behind the tower. Then there's going to be two 4x4 blocks that will be at the end of the angle pieces, giving it support. And those will be nailed and screwed on. This will also be nailed and screwed on to the end of the tower piece. But we start off by putting this piece on. We'll use our 18 gauge 1.5" brad gun. Get my glasses here, and I'll just follow my layout lines and put it flush with my bench. Two nails to hold it in place while I put some screws. All right, and you can see how I put that on there. 2 nails and a screw, and that holds that piece in. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got a block here to hold this end of the tower up, and I'm going to put this under the tower. I'll have my videographer come around so you can see how this lines up with the layout lines. You can see my layout lines there and how that lines up with our layout lines to know exactly where we are. Okay, same scenario. 18 gauge brad gun. I'm going to line up here. There. Oops, got to get my head over here. And couple there. And now we'll go back and complete our installation of the bottom with some screws. And one final screw here. I've got to get out here so I can see. Okay, now let's take a look at that. You can see there's my block in the back that's anchored. Here's the center of my tower, and here's the 2 wings of my tower, nailed and screwed from the bottom. Okay, now our 2 4x4 is 4 inches by 4 inches. And they're just randomly spaced here. 2 nails. And come around and do this side. 2 nails. And I'm going to come back and same thing. After we nail it, we put a screw in it, pulling it tight. Okay, and I am going to put 1 screw from underneath into my 4x4 block on each of my wings. Right there. And right there. All right. Now my base piece is very secure. Now this is a mobile base, so we have wheels. Now, I went to Harbor Freight, which is where you can buy cheap wheels, and I was looking at their wheels, and the wheels that I wanted, about this size, were almost $5 a piece. Not a big deal, I was willing to pay that. Then as I was walking past the little cart, this little cart was on sale for $14. So by buying the cart, I saved myself about 25% of the cost of the wheels. So I just went ahead and bought the cart. And we're just going to clamp and screw this cart to the bottom of our pedestal. Let's grab a couple of clamps. And I need a little spacer to space it up even. Let's get a little block here of scrap wood. We'll put the block up there to space it. And then we'll clamp our cart to the base piece that we just put on. Let's make sure we're centered. And yes, we are. And then we're going to put 2 screws in each corner. Let me show you how that works. We're going to put 1 to the outside, down into our cart, and then 1 to the inside on a diagonal. And we'll do that to each one of the corners, and then we'll come back. I forgot to mention the size of our base piece is 10.5 by 18. Our cart is 12 by 18. This is a standard size cart from Harbor Freight. Now we're going to remove our blocks and we're going to set this down on the bench so that we can work with it a little easier down here. I cut myself some little line blocks here. This little block is half of the distance of our centerpiece. So I'm going to put a center line all the way up and down the bottom. Okay, and you'll see in a minute why we're doing that. This little block is to put a line that centers down the side of our tower pieces. And we're not going to go all the way down, and I'll show you why that in just a minute too. Okay, those are out of the way. Let's introduce you to the lights. The LED lights that we're using are an actual tube that has 4 rows, three rows of LED strips inside. We're going to be putting one down the center that is an 8-foot piece, and we're going to be putting 2 4-foot strips down each side like this and like this. Those are held on by these little clips that they send with you when you buy them. Now these are available on Amazon, and we're going to provide you a link to these lights. And I love these lights because of how much light they give off. They're low energy use. They give off a lot of light. And they stay cool to the touch while you're using them. They don't heat up, so they don't change the temperature of your room by putting off too much heat. We're going to attach those along our lines by just a little 5/8 screw, and we'll put them top, center, and bottom on the big piece, and equal distances down the bottom, or down the sides. I'm going to put the top ones at 12 inches all the way across. I'm going to put the middle one and the bottom of the side pieces at 48 inches. And then I'm going to put the bottom one at 12 inches up from the bottom of our tower. Okay, so there we are. We'll go ahead and put those clips in now. And like I say, a little 5/8 by 5/8, it's called a 5/8 by 6 screw. We'll just line it up to the center of our mark. And just like that, our clip is put in place. I want to keep that clip square, so we're going to push it a little bit, and there it is. And this tube has a little flange on it, and so when we get ready to put it in, we just put that like that, and it clips in and holds. So let's get all of our clips mounted. All right, we have our clips all installed. I do want to mention I drilled a hole with my 3/4 inch spade bit at the bottom for the wire that will go into the bottom of our 8-foot tube. This is our lead wire. This is the one that will come up to the bottom, has a little toggle switch in it, plugs into our power. These two small wires are the wires that go from light fixture to hook it all up into a succession. We went ahead and put one light in there, and you can see how it holds in. Let's go ahead and put the next one in. And we want to be fairly close to the top, and right there, and they just push in, clip, clip, and clip, clip, and we're in. Okay, that one's in. Same thing on this one. We'll make it even with our other one. And these little clips just clip, clip. Oh, this one popped out. Okay, hang on. Okay, now we're in. Okay. All right, there's our light configuration right there. We'll take our power source cord, come up from underneath our cart and through our little hole and plug that into the bottom of our light. There, we're all done with that. We'll take our connecting cords, and we're going to, and they just have a little 3-prong receptacle, and we'll plug it into there and plug it in to there. And I'm going to wrap this kind of around our little tower piece so that it kind of keeps the cord out of place. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. We'll plug it into the bottom of there. And I'm going to put it around the back side if it'll cooperate. We'll plug that in after we stand it up. Too hard to get it moved. All right. Now, we're set up on wheels. And our tower unit just stands up like this. We'll go ahead and bring our other cord around here to our tower unit, to our light, and plug that in. And so now we are all connected. Let's plug into our power. And then we'll turn on our toggle switch. and light. Okay, now you know how, if you want to make some additional light for the dark spots in your shop and your garage, here's one that is a great resource. And the thing that I like about it, I can move it around. So when I'm doing things, if I need extra light in a certain spot, I'm not restricted by where my light fixtures are in my room. I can just wheel this around, point it to where I need it, and bingo, light. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time when we solve some problems in the shop at Woodworking with Wes.